Who's here? McGill and Mellon. Tim says, hey, Todd Lajeunesse, if you're on, congrats on winning the Dovetail Saw on Kaufman's Live. Okay, cool. New Dovetail Saw coming over to Todd Lajeunesse. That's cool. Oh, how are things? People who are here. Are we there yet? Yes, we are, in fact, there. Mike, we are there. We are here. We are present and accounted for. I still have that thing in my shoulder thing. My whatever this muscle's called. It's migrated, it's expanded now into like my mid back. I'm gonna try not to complain about back pain all night. I don't need this anymore. Oh, I'm here, I think. I have lasagna, dog sleeping next to me. Okay. Hello. Chris Walters is here. Hello. Slip Kid is here. I don't know. Who is that? It's somebody I know that changed their name. Slip Kid, who did you used to be? I'm sure that this is somebody I know under a different name that changed their name. It's not Beckham, I don't think. My knee hurts. I'm going to complain all night. Slip Kid, that's the same name? Oh, okay. It's somebody else that I'm thinking of that commented on something, and when it showed up as so-and-so commented, it was somebody I recognized, but when I went to go to the comment, it was a different name. But clearly the same person, because it was the same comment. Oh. Yeah. I got in late, really late, only watched his haircut, and saw that Todd won the saw. Oh, in Cosman's show. Okay. Almost didn't recognize you in the thumbnail. It's unusual to see Mike without a few bandages on his fingers. I am Band-Aid free. It's like, you're right. It's not. I think I want to say about 3 months a year. No, less than that. Come on. It's frequent that I have some kind of bandage of some kind on one of my fingers. Yes, that's true. It is true. Oh, last week it was the black light, wasn't it? It's okay. How did the black light burn? Yeah, it's not. It's just a little bit sensitive. Like, you can't even really see. I thought it was going to be gross when I took it off. Like, I thought it was going to be all bubbly, and it wasn't that bad. And you can't even really tell now. So I was just being a little sissy. Pinnell, do you want to tell the folks your big important news? Big, huge news from the Pinnell camp. Just today, huge news from the Pinnell camp. Hyped for Marking Knife and Box. Yep, it's on its way. One of these guys. He's got some dovetails to cut. Speaking of dovetails, he's like, sweet, I got some dovetails to cut next week. Like, what are you making? It's like a big stack, or you said you got a big stack of drawers or something. What do you make it? Hey, Vineyard Farmhouse is back as well. How you doing, my friend? Vanell says he did an unboxing. He did do an unboxing. He didn't record it. He unboxed something, though. 4 points. 4 points to whoever gets it right What did Chris Pennell unbox today? He doesn't have a channel. He didn't do a YouTube video on it. But 4 points to whoever guesses what Pennell unboxed today. For his huge news. Huge news from Chris Pennell. That's your only hint. Huge news. And it involved an unboxing. 4 points for what the unboxing was, and an additional 2 points for what the huge news is. I think if you get what the unboxing was, you'll know what the huge news is. I heard on the internet that Beaver tools are premium and have great customer service. That you should always believe everything that you read on the internet, because it has to be true in order for it to be there. Diapers? No, not that kind of news. I think Pennell is maybe done with children in more than one way. No, he loves his kids. Some days, some Saturday nights, for sure, I'm done with children. Saturdays tend to be the big day, full of birthday parties and children at the shop. And today was no exception. Matthias now has a set of plans for retrieving your hacked YouTube channel. Yeah, yes, he does. Yeah. YouTube. Chris Walters did a YouTube video on an unboxing I did. What did you unbox? I didn't see it. I don't watch a whole ton of YouTube. Once in a while, I'll check to see what's in my subscription feed that I'm interested in, but I don't honestly watch a whole lot of YouTube these days. When you do YouTube, it's not hard to watch YouTube. It is more difficult to watch YouTube when you do YouTube, I find. Except obviously stuff that you're interested in, but bet Amy would absolutely get the points. Do you wear a clown costume to work on Saturdays? I wear the same thing to work on Saturdays I wear every other day. Just it feels a lot more, it's just louder and more children-y. Ow. I only noticed and watched the Home Depot Sven video a few days ago. That was a fun one. I enjoyed that one. He's been special guest a few times. We did the Home Depot one. We did the organizing the pile of Douglas fir one that he was special guest on. What else have we done? There's been a couple or three. There might be a third. I don't remember. Yes, I used to watch a lot more YouTube before I was a YouTube creator. Yeah, right? Well, it's because you're spending your time making the YouTubes instead of actually consuming the YouTubes. Part of it is that you're spending time creating the YouTubes instead of watching the YouTubes. And part of it is some of the magic is gone, I guess. Because even when I watch really good YouTube videos, a lot of times I'll find myself going oh, how do you get that shot? Or this is a really good music choice to go with this scene. Or is it I'm not really engaged as much with the content as I am with the production sometimes. It can go that way. Every time Jax does a video, Jax's Traveling Turner series, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, wow, that beautiful drone footage and blah, 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 blah. But I would be Oh man, he had to put that camera there and then drive down the road and turn around and then drive back by the camera and then come back and pick up his camera and then go to the next. That's the way that my brain was going. Like while I was watching it, I was like, oh, he had to put that up in that tree and then go back and do the stuff and then go back and get the camera and then like, it's. I start thinking about the hassles that people have when they're, unless they're people with like camera crews and like, but I don't really watch those people anyway. So, the box came from Washington State. What might of a box come from Washington State? What happens in Washington State that you might have opened a box because of? The shit does Washington State do? Is it just a box of wood? Was it like a fan of your channel that sent you a box of wood? Because they have different woods up in the Northwest than you have down there? It's like working retail and having to go shopping. Yeah, kind of. But I find, oh yeah, they're like, you're nicer to retail workers when you work retail and you go shopping, I think. And you're nicer to other YouTubers when you do that also, I think. There's some connect, yeah, there's some relevance there. I only recently discovered the Bourbon Moth YouTube channel. He's great. I did enjoy him. I still don't hate him. I think he's a cool dude, and like I'd like to hang out and have beers. He does feel a little bit hammy to me. Like the first few times I was like, oh, this guy's funny. But then it felt like every time I watched it, he plays it up a little more than I prefer in terms of like, hey, you know, look at me. Kind of his persona is a little hammy to me, but he seems like a super cool guy, and I do enjoy once in a while checking him out. I go 3 phases. I binged a bunch of shooting boards this week because I made one. Otherwise, take breaks here and there. No YouTube, and then he needs inspiration for things for sure. Microsoft is in Washington. Oh, was it a? Do people buy things from Microsoft? Finally ordered some Waldrop guitar shop stickers to trade with people. I still haven't done stickers. I should just do stickers. Stickers aren't that expensive. Yeah, I should do that. Just go to Vistaprint and get them to print me a batch of stickers, and we could do tradesies. I've enjoyed smaller channels. Start Making and Earth, Wind, Fire woodworking lately. And Mike's Wooden Things and stuff. Put them on the list. I mean, like Jim Carrey having to be funny with every single line. Kind of like it feels like overacted a little bit. I would like to see him be a little more genuine human being. His bits are funny, but he feels a little overacted a little bit sometimes. That's all. That's definitely a small channel. But Mike's Wooden Things and stuff. Thank you very much. I just crested 7,100 subscribers. I will have you know. I have many leather-bound books. Speaking of top-tier YouTube content, what about that video that Bennett shot and directed? That was top-tier content for sure. That was absolutely top-tier content. We've already gotten 3 videos. That's it. I also did a video this week. I also put out a video this week. Was that 2 weeks in a row? Maybe not. When did the boxes video come out? It might have been a week in between. How many from Bennett's video? New subscriptions? I don't know if it tracks that. It probably does. I could probably find out. The rate didn't increase. I'll just say that. the, I'm pretty steady about 100 a month. I steadily average about 100 a month, and it didn't increase. The rate didn't increase from the Bennett video. Would love to meet other small maker channels. They are small enough to interact with. Yeah, that's the advantage of finding the little guys. Is that sometimes we just hang out. Excited about shop renovation and hope it happens this summer. Yeah. Oh, your shop renovation or mine? Because I'm excited for mine. I'm excited for yours too, if there is one. But yeah, it's absolutely going to happen this summer. At the very least, it's going to be move everything out, paint, lights, move everything back in. Actually, at the very least, that's not the very least. At the very least, it's going to be move everything to one side, paint that side, move everything to the other side, paint this side, put everything back, and put the lights up. I guess that's the very least. I would like to move everything out and then not move everything back in. Would be nice, because there's a bunch of stuff in here that I probably don't need and I'm just keeping because it's here. But once it's out, it'll be easier to not put it back in. It's just a matter of, do I want to spend the money on the U-Haul? At that rate, you'll get your YouTube plaque in April 2098. Yeah. And it'll go in a place of prominence on my tombstone. Don't. Future people watching this in 2098, do not put my YouTube plaque on my tombstone. That is not how I want to be remembered. That's an interesting question. Would I rather be remembered as a YouTube guy or forgotten? Not remembered at all, or remembered as a YouTube guy? That's a tough would you rather. I don't know. I guess remembered as a YouTube guy. One of my greatest fears is to not be remembered. It's like one of the worst nightmares I ever had was I sat bolt upright in bed, like afeared. I was a ghost, and I was in a living room, and people, I don't remember exactly how it went, but people I knew were talking and didn't remember me. So somebody brought me up or something, and everybody else was like, I have no idea who you're talking about or something. I did, like, it was just like, there's no other explanation for it than it was a fear of being forgotten. Your reno, my garage still needs some insulation in a wall. Bought a chain hoist for moving heavy mill/lathe. Electrical needs doing, but wood projects moving along too. Sweet. Famous guitarist? No, I will never be a famous guitarist. Let's just put that one to bed. I'm barely an adequate guitarist. I was having that discussion at band practice this past week. It's like, I'm not a guitar player. I am a person who plays guitar relatively adequately at times. But we love it. Do you? Do you though? Those YouTube plaques aren't made well enough to handle the elements on a headstone. So it would disintegrate in short order. Okay, you put it on my tombstone then. It'll be gone in a week. You never said good guitarist, just famous. Yeah, okay. But famous for being adequate seems weird. Never thought about being remembered. Don't. It's depressing. I bought enough Doug fir for 3 big projects. So affordable compared to 1 sheet of plywood. I bet I got mine cheaper than you did. I got that whole load of Douglas fir for $100, and I am not even a tenth of the way through it, and I have made various cabinets and yeah, and boxes and things. I maybe what 400 board feet, 300 board feet, I don't know, for 100, which is still less than 50 cents a board foot, let's put it that way, I would think. I need to make myself a couple of fake YouTube plaques to hang on the wall of my office. Have you ever looked at getting a fro for splitting wood for woodworking? I have not looked at getting a fro. The answer is no. I don't do riven. I'm gonna for something, but it's not really the way that I would work. The next Mikey B filmed project might start Monday. I don't know. He's either coming over to do filming or he's driving out of town to go do some stuff in Courtenay. But if Mikey B comes over to do filming on Monday, we are going to do the rehabbing the dead hatchet video. So this guy, that got left out over the winter in my yard, and then so I'm gonna try to refurb that hatchet head and make a new hatchet handle for it. And also, because this would be a perfect opportunity to also, we would do a twofer. We do a twofer with Mikey B, and we'll also film the unboxing and testing the Veritas spoke shave on the hatchet project. Related, how often have you used a scrub plane? You probably run into some rougher wood a bit. I use a scrub plane 0 times. I don't, it's not how I mill wood. The scrub plane is a milling process, and I have a jointer and a planer. I've taken some deep cuts with other planes that would have been borderline scrub planing, but I've never used a scrub plane. Speaking of Cosman's Lives, one of these weeks during the draw, we're going to see Mike Davies, and then there will be some splaining to do. I guarantee that that's not the case. I didn't even know that he was doing lives. I did know. I assumed that he was probably still doing lives, but it's not a thing that I'm going to do. Splitting with wedges would work too, Sean. It's common method. Bought some tear making video. Yeah, you need wedges. I'm good. Froze look cool, even for 3 minutes to get a high spot. I just use like my jack plane or whatever. And I just take a deeper cut. I have no need for a heavily cambered, wide open throated plane to do that operation. Something that, yeah, you're right. Sometimes I'll hit a high areas of a board with a plane before it goes to the planer or the jointer or whatever. But I've never used a scrub plane to do that operation. I use my chainsaw with ripping chain to cut logs in half along the grain. There you go. I mean, I cut firewood with an axe when I have to cut firewood, which is not frequent. Cadec Vintage and Mechanical. Hello, Bobbert. How are you today, my friend? Oh, before anybody asks, no, we're not doing guitar work. Says probably not in the title. I did want to. I really did. Last night, I fit my neck butt. I cut my neck butt down so that it is now resting in the right place. And I really I wanted to route the pickup cavity today. I have my router. I have my pickup template. I have my router bits. I cleaned up my shop and set it up. Cleaned up my shop enough to set up to do some guitar work tonight on the show. Nope. Couple of reasons. The first one being I don't feel like it. I thought I was gonna feel like it. Turns out I don't. The second one being when your melon, your brain box is not in the proper place, this is not a tool you should operate. It's like, don't not pay attention to what you're doing at the table saw or with the router. And the third reason is I was going to draw this on where I wanted it to go. I was going to get rid of most of it with Forstner bit on the drill press and then route it out. Turns out I left my Forstner bits down at the shop. So the horn is cool. Yeah, it's my thing on my guitars. Is a palm router a good choice for that cut? It's not the best choice probably, but it'll do it. Plunge router is always a better choice when you're doing handheld routing. Especially inside something. It's not always. If you're doing around the edges of something, edge treatments or whatever, you don't need a plunge router. But going down into something and routing, plunge router is a better choice. This one just happened to be closer. And it's lighter and it's fine. It does what it needs to do. Figured you would want two-hand control. It's fine. Once like you take most of the wood out with the Forster bit on drill press, and then you're basically just cleaning up around the outside and on the bottom. There's not a lot of, you're not getting rid of a lot of material with the router itself during that operation. But yeah, you're right. Plunge router would be better. Okay. Okay, Todd. You win. No, it's a good question. Also, if you do it with the two-handy router with a plunge, you gotta strap your guitar down to the bench. If I do it with that, I can have one hand holding the guitar body still, and I can do it with this. I probably won't, but you could. Shop rental plan. What do you want to do? Lights, paint. Ideally, it would be lights, paint, and floor, and flooring of some kind, or lights, paint, and just a possible reorientation to see if I can get. I do like the way the placement of my tools and things, but maybe it could be better. And by moving everything out and then moving everything back in, I might find a better orientation for things. But mainly paint and lights, yeah. I just clamped mine down for routing. Yeah, that's what I said. Secure it to the bench. The clamps or hold fast or painter's tape and Starbond, whatever. So lights, painting, shop stool. Yeah. Paul, have you sent my box yet? Because I want to make my own guitar nuts. I don't like the standard width of a guitar nut. I want my strings to be a little bit further apart. So I think possibly a stabilized black something solid as opposed to like a burly thing. You got some hard ass woods down there in Texas, like black dyed stabilized mesquite or something. I think would be hard enough for a guitar nut. I don't know. What do you think? I think I have some ebony. Well, yeah, okay, sure, but I mean, it's like $430 a board foot or something. It'll be ridiculous. Probably not. You just use straight ebony, because I could do that. I could just go buy a stick of ebony that's like pen blank size stick of ebony and just get a half a dozen nuts out of it. Do you think just like straight ebony would be fine for a guitar nut? Ebony pen blanks are a couple of bucks. It's probably true, but you can get an ebony like fretboard that you could cut into guitar nuts. Oh wait, here's one. carve you one out of brass or anodized aluminum. Ooh. Brass guitar nut would be cool, maybe. Then you'd need my measurements, and I just want a little bit bigger than standard. I don't know what I could. I guess I could figure it out. Maybe a 3/16 wider than a normal guitar nut, just to get the string spacing just a little, because I'm not very good at guitar, and I need more space between the strings. See what I have to put in the box. Cool. Yeah, I was just thinking that you would know more than anybody else that I could talk to probably about. I was picturing just a black dyed stabilized piece of hard ass Texas wood. Would probably be hard enough for guitar nuts. Gonna pack it tomorrow. Ooh. I'm excited. I always love getting packages. And I hope it makes everybody else feel bad when Paul is going to send me another package of stuff, and they have not. But Lajeunesse has. Scotty has. I can't believe I'm a terrible person and forgot her name that sent me the soaps, because she hasn't been around for quite some time. I have a lovely note from her. Megan. Megan from Northern Alberta. Don't know if the strings would eventually cut into the wooden nut. Yeah, but then you could just make another one. I'm a woodworker. It does make me feel bad. Why doesn't Paul send me one? Because you refused his friend request, remember? Or something? Aren't you guys fighting? I got some of those soaps for the wifey. She still hasn't used them. They're relatively potent. But the one that she sent for me, because she knew that I wasn't really a scents guy, wasn't that potent. It's like Scott and his candles. I don't know if you guys know this, but Scott makes candles as well, the custom grit Scott. And he does like various levels of scent. And he sent me a very nicely, lightly scented vanilla one, which as much as I could enjoy a scented candle, I enjoyed that scented candle. It was the most I've ever enjoyed a scented candle. Here. Oh, hey. Gonna try. Went to the beer store on my way home from work. And I was walking to get my typical box of beer. And out of the corner of my eye, but what did I see on the wall of craft beers? Cherrywood Lager. How could you not try it? How could I not buy the single of Cherrywood Lager from Longwood Brewery? 6% alcohol, relatively decent sized can. This is a 473 mil. I don't know what that means to the Americans. Typical can, I think, is $3.55. Yeah. So, Cherrywood lightly smoked. How do you? Lightly smoked cherrywood, maybe? I'm like, you can't smoke beer. No matter how you cut it. Our new Cherrywood lager is a sweet addition to the Longwood lineup. Malt forward with a light spice from the noble hops. Okay, let's give it a go. From Nanaimo, about an hour and a half down the street. Cherrywood lager from Longwood Brewery in Nanaimo, British Columbia. That is fucking delicious. That is really good. Hold on. Let's see the color on that. That is a delicious beer. There's sort of a late, yeah, okay. It's there if you know that it's supposed to be. I don't know that I would, if they didn't name it that, and I wasn't looking for it on my palate, I might not know that that's what that is. That sort of smoky cherry undertone. There is a sweet malty front. It's correct about that. It's just the right amount of hops. I'm not a hoppy beer kind of fella. I enjoy that very much. Speaking of down, I've got to scroll back a little bit. 14 ounce. Is it? 16 ounce, Pinnell says. Oh, geez, come on. Americans think it's can of beer size. $4.73 is your guys' standard beer size? I don't believe you. Speaking of down the street, I might have to come check out the Crow's Nest in early July. Hey, right on. Yeah, do it. Or come for a barbecue. We'll have a barbecue. Who besides women drinks beer for the taste? I don't drink beer for the taste, but I enjoy beer more if it tastes good. Oh, geez, I'm slowing down. Oh, don't ban people. Should ask you guys. The Veritas tools that get discontinued. I have two I want. There's no question. I should ask you guys. He starts, I should ask you guys, and then there isn't a question. Veritas tools that get discontinued, period. I have two I want, period. Fast action duck hold down, period. Don't need. Just want, but no hits when asking Veritas Facebook group. There's no question there. Damn it, Sean. I told you, my brain isn't here. Matt. So what you're saying is you are hoppy about this unhoppy beer. Yes. This is a good, I like this. The other one is Miter Plain, but product guy said they'd bring it back after a while. Again, no question. I'll be in Comox and Vic for a couple weeks. Sweet. Yeah, pop up and say hi. My mate's doing a raspberry sour beer. I've had some fruity beers that I didn't hate. 375 standard can size in Oz. So 20 mils bigger than our standard can size. How has your overall health been? Any pain? You asked me about my health last week? I got a twinge. I slept badly, I want to say on Sunday night last week. I woke up on Monday with like a really tight, like huge knot kind of situation in whatever this muscle is called that joins your neck to your back. And it hasn't gone away, and it's gotten better and worse over the week. And now it's kind of migrated to the middle of my back. And so I'm like tight and like I can't turn real quick without it. And my wrist situation feels like it's kind of on the upswing as well, in terms of I did something to my wrist a year ago, maybe a little under a year ago, a golfing injury at the driving range. And it's never really completely gotten better, but it feels like it's getting worse again suddenly. Yeah, aches and pains. Just getting old. So, I was actually saying that to somebody literally today at work. I was talking about how the human is a terrible design. Like, it's not a good design. There's too many moving bits and stuff that needs to work all together for things to work properly. And when something doesn't work right with something else, the whole thing goes to shit. And like, it's just not poorly designed. I ask is if anyone knows a guy. Oh, okay. What are you? You're wanting to know if anybody has either of those products that have been discontinued because you want them and you can't get them from Veritas. Okay, quick lesson. Okay, so you're going to find a button on either your keyboard or your phone that looks kind of like this. Its general use is to put at the end of a sentence when you're looking for a response. That was kind of I mean, it was kind of funny, but it was a little aggressive. I apologize. It was a little bit funny though. This is why I didn't know what your question was, because there still hasn't been one. Seinfeld said, if the human body was a used car, nobody would buy it. Too much maintenance. Right? God. Just wonder if Neanderthal babies matured faster than modern babies out of self-preservation. Probably. They also, I think, mature as a Neanderthal would have been younger. Yes, I think this is true, because you would have had to like get your ass out in the forest, start hunting for berries and shit. Start helping out around here, like earlier. I don't know either of those tools. I don't have, if the actual answer is I don't have any contacts that have either of those tools. If you try the Can I Have It peeps, because one day a week they do here's the post for what are you guys looking for this coming weekend, and you can put like what you're looking for, and if somebody has one of those, they might put it up for auction on the weekend. You can try that. if you're in that group. Have you tried what's his face? Hyper Kitten, tool dealer up in New England. He's more of an antique vintage guy, but never know. Maybe we weren't meant to last past 65. Oh yeah, dude. Like the fact that we're extending our lifespans is actually a bad thing because it makes us aches and pains and stuff. Maybe use a question mark at the end of all sentences. Maybe he'll read it exactly as you type it. I'm Ron Burgundy. All I see from Can I Have is the bidding war or raffle things. Veritas group seems more active. The Can I Have a group has grown beyond my reach, unfortunately, at this point. I think there are so many people in that group that have much more disposable income than me, or disposable money, and are willing to pay more money for tools than I am. I'm still in the group, and I still once in a while I'll put my initials in something that I'm keeping my eye on. But I don't think there's a very high chance that I'm ever going to buy anything there again. Because I'm not going to save $5 or $10 off new. Just to, and then like when you count shipping and everything like that, just. Used tools hold value, and some people want to pay more for them than me. That's all. I'm not paying $150 American for a hand plane from 130 years ago. I'm just not going to. It's not true. I did do that. I'm not going to do it again. Did I pay after shipping and border charge and everything? No, it was more like 160 Canadian for the number 8. I don't remember. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. It was like $80 American, and then the shipping and the charge at the border and everything else came out to about 100. Yeah, somewhere in the $150, $160 Canadian range. I've never bought anything from CIHI. I've never won an auction. True? No, not true. I won an auction. Was it a buy it now? I don't think I've ever won an auction. But I lost an auction. My number 6, I think, was I lost the auction that I was bidding on the Type 6 number 6, and I didn't win it. And somebody messaged me afterwards and was like, I have a Type 6 number 6 if you would like it for the last price that you bid on that tool. And sent me pictures and whatever. I was like, yes, I would. And I got, maybe I won the auction on the 8. I don't know. I did a video on it. Maybe I said in that video whether it was an auction win. rattling. I think I'm going to sell all my old tools and buy Festool. There you go. Sure. I got that in my head today after hitting it on the drill press. I don't know if Festool makes a drill press. I don't think I've ever seen a Festool drill. Now that the joke's over, I don't think I've ever seen a Festool drill press. Okay. But speaking of buying tools. Okay. Let's talk about it. I don't want to get into the discussion about whether or not I have room. Because Paul has less room than me and he has a drum sander. And I'm thinking I would like a drum sander. When I was making these little carving blanks for necklace pendants, if you guys weren't around, like little laminated. Basically, I'm making plywood so that the grain direction changes so that you can not have weak points in certain places, so you can get more detail in your little carving things. So I'm making a whack of these things. Man, like ripping thin strips on the bandsaw and then firing through a drum sander would be really cool to be able to make thin strips of stuff, like thin strips of stuff that is bigger than table saw type stuff. And also other reasons, like belt drum sander, I think would be a relatively well-used addition to the shop. They are stupid expensive for what they are and what they do. They're just a spinning, like I could make one out of a lathe. Like I just said a thing out loud that gave me an idea. Like I didn't even have the idea before I said it out loud. I could make my lathe into a drum sander. It's like Matthias level engineering. Conveyor belt type situation with it wrapped in sandpaper. More work than it's worth. But man, I've never understood why drum sanders are so expensive for what they are and what they do. There are videos of that on YouTube. Well, good. That's what I want to do. I want to surf around on YouTube to find like making a drum sander with my lathe. It's probably called that. It's probably a good one that isn't hosted by some shit idiot. I used an attachment on my old drill press to make a fake drum sander. But it would be vertical drum sander. I used my drill press as a lathe before I had a lathe. You guys remember that? Anybody see that video? Where I turned the handle for my bandsaw box on my drill press. Worked. Fake spindle sander. Yeah, not that bad. Like that's essentially, before I had a spindle sander, I did use my drill press as a spindle sander. And now I have a spindle sander. If I could rig up something to like power feed through my oscillating belt sander and make it work power feed, essentially a power feeder on my oscillating belt sander would probably do me. I just need to rig up something to, and I could power feed it with like a cordless drill that would spin a thing and push it against the belt sand. Oh, okay. So I've got my belt, and it's spinning this way around here. I just need something here that spins this way to feed material through this way. This would have to have more power than the friction from this creates in order for it to feed through. There's something here. Instead of a couple $1,000 for a drum sander. Because I was gonna, like, the reason I brought it up is because I was gonna ask for recommendations. Paul, what kind of drum sander do you have? I mean, we might as well get the recommendations. Because I was leaning towards Supermax. Still have the old planer. No, Tyler Peterson has my old planer. Ooh. Old planer. An old lunchbox planer. I think that head speed is going to be a problem. I feel like a planer head spins too fast to become a belt sander, to become a drum sander. Send some quick shot pics so people can sort of see my setup. No, you didn't, because I cleaned off my workbench and I don't have a computer here anymore. Well, I mean, you did send them, but I can't show. I can't show and tell tonight because I was planning on doing guitar work on my bench tonight. Can you slow down a motor? Like, hypothetically, if I bought a crappy old planer, or if I just got Tyler Peterson to give me back mine, my old one, he may have harvested all the parts off of it by now for his other planer. But I don't. Anyway, find a random crappy planer for $100. Can you slow down a planer head? Because you could absolutely make a planer into a drum sander if that's a thing. You have Supermax 1938. That's bigger than I would need. I don't remember the model I was looking at, but it was like the $2,000-ish one. You can change gear sizes to change the speeds. That sounds like something I'm not going to want to learn how to do. Matthias has plans for building different size gear sizes. I'm fucking sick of hearing about this guy. He sucks. Change the speed input with a rheostat dial. Rheostat dial. I want to say that's probably not even a typo. That's probably what it's called. The speed input from the motor to the planer head. I mean, isn't that essentially what a potentiometer does? Is it adjusts the amount of current, I guess, that's going. It's a like variable speed lathe. What's that action when you have a dial on your lathe that creates variable speed within the same gear? What is that operation? Because you just put one of those on your planer. It's essentially just a potentiometer type situation, I think. I paid $1,400 for a Supermax when I was at Rockler. That's 1,400 American. And I mean, what was that? Like 1974? Ho, hey-o. Okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that one. You can buy router speed controllers that plug into a machine and it changes the speed. Lower the electricity to the motor and it slows down. It's technically a potentiometer, right? So crappy old planer, some kind of potentiometer speed control system, change out the head, the planer head, for a drum that holds sandpaper. Way cheaper, but more effort than just buying whatever the drum sander was that I was looking at. Damn, the 1938 is $2,000 now. And that's $2,000 American. The one I was looking at was around $2,000 Canadian. So I would say maybe what would that be, a 1632? Do they have one of those? Is that a model? Mike trying to be all Izzy Swan. He'd have an answer. He's probably got one. He probably made one. There's something here. There's something to this discussion. It would take up the same amount of space to have a second planer that functions as a drum sander. I don't know if because the feeders on a benchtop planer are on the same side of the board as the drum would be, whether or not that's an issue. If it feeds a board through a planer head, it should feed a board through a sander. Actually, Stumpy Nubs has a great set of plans for building a wooden drum. See, that's another guy I can't really, just rubs me the wrong way. Yeah, I have a lot of contempt for like a fair number of YouTube woodworkers. Now that, like, I don't want to keep talking about it because it'll just, I'm supposed to be looking at the good things in the world this year. But every time somebody comes up, I'm like, that guy sucks. That guy sucks. That guy overacts. That, like, why? Why? Add Stumpy Nose to the list. So he's just another dude that just feels like he is all about the dollar bills. He's always trying to sell you something. I don't know what it is. He always feels like he's trying to sell you something. And I think my main problem with Stumpy Nubs is I've never seen him actually make anything. Like, has he ever made anything? Because if he's made things, I have never seen it. I've never seen him make anything. And I know that making things on YouTube is not as profitable as talking about things that you make stuff with. But made a drum sander with an old washing machine motor and the old mangle off the washing machine. Don't know what the mangle of a washing machine is, but it feels like a drum sander is a thing you should be able to make relatively easily out of other things. And that's what blows me away about the price of drum sanders. Is like you should be able to just make one of these with a drill and a treadmill or something, you know, like crappy old treadmill. The motor from a crappy old treadmill. Hold on. Because that's got a potentiometer speed dial. The motor from a crappy old treadmill. People are giving away treadmills all the time for like just about nothing or nothing, literally nothing. And they've got potentiometer speed things on their belt. Treadmill. Question mark. And then I'm going to add belt sander. Nope. Drum sander. So that I know what I'm telling myself later. Drum sander, treadmill, question mark. I'll remember how this conversation went. Get an old dryer, line the inside with sandpaper, put the boards inside, turn it on. Profit? Yes. Mangle is 2 rollers that you put clothes through to get the water out. Okay. Oh, like if you're doing like wash basin type, like if you're Amish. The drum sander prices do not seem terrible when I see Festool and Marcus 6-inch. Yeah, this is a good point. This is a good point. They do, like, that's, I disagree. I disagree with the premise. Drum sander prices do not seem terrible when compared to these other things whose prices seem terrible. I disagree with your premise. They both seem terrible. It's like, wow, this, I almost went to a place I didn't want to go. But like, this human being is terrible. This human being is slightly more terrible. Doesn't make this one good when you put them side by side. Just this guy looks better compared to this guy because this guy's slightly more terrible or whatever. Like, you know, it's just get 2 treadmills. Here we go. The giant sandpaper and replace the treadmill part with sandpaper. Put them together, sand both sides at once. Wouldn't that just create a rocket? If you had 2 treadmills going and you put a board between them, wouldn't it just... And if you had them going in opposite directions, if you had them going at opposite directions at different speeds, one would slowly move it through the other one. No. Trudeau isn't that bad. I said I wasn't. opposite directions, the board would stay in the middle and just turn to sanding dust. Right. Like I said, if one was spinning slightly faster than the other one, it would move. You'd have to have some kind of springs that would produce tension so that it would, as it was being sanded down, it would add like tension to compensate for the dust that was being removed. That sounds like more work. Use drum sander off marketplace. Definitely worth looking without strong intention to buy. Yeah, okay. What, you don't think I can make one out of a treadmill? I'm not going to make one out of a treadmill, but I think if like I found a free treadmill, the motor has an adjustable speed and it attaches to something that spins. It's a good starting point. And 2 free treadmills. Hold on. 2 free treadmills. Make one of them into the drum and one of them into the conveyor belt. Just not like not treadmill size conveyor belt, but like one of them going this way with sandpaper on it. One of them going this way with a conveyor belt situation. And I get to dial in the speeds on each one. Just buy a drum sander. Just buy a drum sander. Patreon.com/wooden things and stuff. How you can support the effort for me to buy a drum sander. Because even I think even used ones, because of how expensive new ones are, and like the ratio, like the percentage of the tool depreciation or whatever, like I'll find a used one on marketplace for like $200, like a $2,000 drum sander, and it'll be like I used this for a couple years, $1,800 or something. If you woke up 3 months from now, checked marketplace, and saw one for $300, would you buy it? Probably. If I went over and tested it and it worked and was in decent, yeah. The answer is yes. Can you set alerts on marketplace for like certain keywords within a certain distance? Is that a thing you can do? Most hand-built ones don't have the rotating belt. Hard to gauge what speed that needs to be at. Yeah. Just buy one. Just stop. It would be an easier decision if I had more money on patreon.com/ or from starbond.com/ whatever that code is. Guys, help me make more money so that I can buy a drum sander. Just sand the pendants by hand. I'm making laminations of thin strips of wood to create the blanks to make the pendants, and also other reasons. It would have been pretty slick to fire this guitar blank through a drum sander real quick before I started into it. And other reasons. I did like, shut up. Beer. That was good. I enjoyed the cherry. Was it called cherry wood? Longwood Brewery, Nanaimo, Cherrywood Lager. I like that. That was good. There are probably I do enjoy the dumb search strings for things because the best deals are found when people post and have no idea what they have. I just don't like Marketplace because it doesn't show things fucking chronologically. Like, it doesn't show you newest to oldest, like Craigslist or Kijiji or any of those other places, where you go in and the newest things are at the top and the oldest things are at the bottom. And so if you went yesterday and you see 3 new things, you know that you've looked at everything below that. Facebook doesn't work that way. Marketplace doesn't work that way. It bothers me. Because, like, I've seen all of this shit and I already decided I don't want it, so I don't need to see it again. Yes, on Facebook Marketplace, you can set up alerts on keywords. At least on a computer, you can. All right, making a note. FB MP alerts. It's a good enough note that I know what that means later. If I move to BC, you can come over and use mine. I saw a property. I was going to send it to you. Kind of as a joke, because I don't know what your price range is. But it's got a good size shop and 2 houses on the 3 acres, maybe. Not a huge lot. I believe it was 2 houses and a pretty good size shop on maybe 2 acres. For 1.7, 1.8, maybe. When I did check Marketplace, I only got 3 results for years because it was specific, but the more open searches would always find me used box cars. Well, and you also have to search for like wrong spellings. Like, if I was looking for a planer and I wanted alerts, I would do planer, I would do planner, I would do flattener, because some people don't know what the thing is called, and some people do typos and stuff like that. So you got to add those into your alerts. Yeah. Smokerette. Two acres is fine. Looking for acreage. Mostly going to build a smaller home on it or a big shop with living quarters inside. Yep. We need to talk dollar figure though. Because 2 acres with 2 houses and a shop, 1.7, 1.8. I'm like, I don't know if that's a reasonable send. You're looking to spend $1.8 million? Because that doesn't, it's like, I can't even comprehend that, but like it's a reality for some people. I don't even make enough money at patreon.com/woodenthings and stuff. No. See, that's why I was like, I wanted to send it to you as like a, here you go kind of thing. But like, do you just want 2 acres with nothing on it so that you can build fresh? You got to live somewhere while you're doing that, I guess. You got to have some kind of structure that you can live in while you're building. Even if it's like a manufactured home or something, you got to put something on there while you're building. I can't afford another $1.8 million house. I can't afford a fucking drum sander. Convert your garage to temporary bedroom. I mean, It would be uncomfortable. Another LOL. No, he's probably not lying. His house probably is $1.8 million. It's like his living room floor is probably like $200,000. Like, I don't know. You guys might have a misconception about like Pinnell. Okay, like this dude is like how the other half lives. If Paul sleeps in your garage, there might be a drum sander involved. Yeah, you can. I'll tell you what. You move into my garage while you're building on your 2-acre property, and then when you go, you just leave the drum sander behind. Were you guys not here when we were talking about Pinnell's Yatoba floors? Like, hurts to think we of house price 10 and 20 years ago. If you have a house, yeah. Everything about that statement right there. House I live in is $400,000. I bought it for $105 in 2004. I bought for $260 in 2016, 17-ish. $260 I bought, and probably could sell for $650 or so right now. We've had this talk before. That wouldn't do me any good. All the profit would be going into the next place that I moved into. So unless I moved somewhere way cheaper. But I like it here. Because I live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. Not with the missing vinyl. Yeah, that's why I said $650. If I replace that piece of vinyl, I'm probably up around $7. I'm only kind of joking. Things have evened out and sort of stabilized a little bit. I might not be $650 right now if I was to sell, but I've more than doubled. Let's just say I've more than doubled my $260. Sorry, I've more than doubled the bank's $260. Wait, you still haven't replaced it? No. Is that bad? Yes, of course it's bad. The weather comes from that way, and it's right up under the soffit. It's not that bad. It's a little bit of moisture getting in probably, but I like how he was surprised. Like, hold on. You'll pay the bank a lot more than double over the 25-year mortgage. Yeah, but I'm not paying somebody else's. At least I'm paying mine. paying into my own equity. And I feel really, really sorry for people who, I don't feel sorry for them. That's the wrong way to say it. The system is, oh God, are you seriously? Are you going to go off on an economic rant about housing? The system is set up such that it is unfair in a lot of ways. Let's just stop there. Like, if I was trying to save up for a house right now, it would be impossible. If I was trying to pay rent and save up for a house right now, it would be impossible to do. Done with mine in May. Oh, we should have a celebration show. Todd, we should have a celebratory show when you finish paying off your house. And you fully own your house and your property outright. That I don't know that I'm even going to be alive anymore when that happens. For me. Bit the bullet, made lots of extra payments, paid off my house in 13 years. Wow. Yeah, that's cool. But you have to have a job that allows you to do that too, right? You have to be able to be at a rate and have paid an amount of money that allows you to pay those extra payments and stuff. Like, so many people these days are just barely treading water and trying to afford groceries on top of their bills and everything else. It's not the same as it used to be. Not a good consumer. I pay cash for most of what I buy. I don't like credit cards or loans. Making double payments on the bike to get it paid off in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about happier things. So how can we make a drum sander out of a couple of treadmills? that was fun. Progress. Pinnell was making fun of me for not making any progress on my resolutions. Guitar progress happened this week. I cut the butt of the neck down to thickness, and that's about it. But progress. It's one step closer. I just keep putting one foot in front of the other, making it one step closer. Progress. Build one with a treadmill beside it. Put a $20 American and have a kid run on the belt to try and get the bill. It's like a Sven powered drum sander. And he gets some exercise. Have to actually pay him though. Like, he's not going to run forever and realize he can't reach the thing. Like, instead of like a bill on a wire, I'd just be like, for every 10 minutes you run, you get $20. Or probably only need to run it for 10. No, that's more. Might as well just put the $2,000 into the belt sander, because over time that's gonna. I like your headspace though. It's good. Put the kid to work. Do you like the concept of a Sven powered drum sander? Also, when you get the drum sander, remember more money for extra belts and erasers. Yeah. Stupid consumables. I'm just gonna come to your place and use yours. Buy the 1.8. It's probably only like 1.2 American dollars. Does that help? If that makes any difference. Oh, not complaining, looking at the bright side of life. This is Monty Python, right? That's just in my head. I was just like, what is that? Anyway, what else can we talk about? I want to hang out for a bit. Monty Python Live Brand. Yeah, see, took me a second, but I was like, oh, I did finish Tears of the Kingdom this week. Yeah, I finished the storyline of the game of Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom on Tuesday. It's the best game I've ever played. I enjoyed Breath of the Wild more than Tears of the Kingdom. But Tears of the Kingdom is the best video game I've ever played. If that makes any sense. The guitar in the thumbnail looks nice. The new project. Yep. New project. We've been making it here live on the show. All of the steps that, other than gluing the blanks together to make the initial parts, we're done. This guitar has been made live here on the show. Periodically, we just kind of chip away at it. And it's getting closer and closer to completion. I was going to do some more on it tonight. I just don't have it in me. And other reasons. Built your Reggie sled. Oh, right on. Just glued together 3 rings. Sweet. And then another fantastic use for a drum sander. Right? Like you're making segmented rings, fire them through the drum sander so you can glue them together, stack, 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 stack. How did you do the initial mounting when you made yours? Made my what? Top has decent flame to it. There are a couple of flamey areas. It's more spalty than flamey, but there are a few. There's some flaminess in it, but there's also some spaltiness in it. think it's bulkier than flamey. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see what it ends up looking like. How did you do the initial mounting when you made of what? The segmented bowl? You have to go back and watch the video. Did it between boards on my bench. I stacked them and then clamped to my bench. Yeah. I stacked them on my bench and then I put a piece of plywood down on them and then I hold fasted, I think, to clamp them all together. I think. I don't know. Pernell will put a link in the chat for the segmented bowl video. No, he won't. Don't click it. It'll say youtube.com in front of it, but it's not that. How did you first mount it on the lathe? I hot glued it. Took me a second. I made, still have it. Oh, it's back in here. I took a piece of plywood and I mounted it to the faceplate. And I put zip, 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 zip lines on it, and I mounted it with hot glue to this so that it would be approximately centered so that I could do the outside. And then you can see where the plywood ripped away when I removed it from the... That was a scary moment. I remember that. I vividly remember thinking I was going to explode my bowl, taking it off of its platform. It's like chiseling around it and like prying it up, and it was like I heard cracking and stuff, and it was just the plywood coming away from the hot glue. And I left a tenon on the bottom when I turned the outside so that when I removed it from this, I could flip it around and put it on, and then I could part it off on the second turn. Go watch the video. Remember when we couldn't breathe at work today? I do remember that. I remember being forced to breathe at work today and it being very, very uncomfortable. It says public service announcement, okay? You do not need, like, I've never really understood like scent-free zones. Like when you see signs that say like, this is a scent-free zone, it's like, come on though, like what's the big idea? Like people can smell like scents. It's not that big a deal. Sometimes it's a big fucking deal. Like the dude came into work today. I don't even know how people think that they need that much scent. Like he walked in the building and immediately everybody's faces started leaking, and like it was like a biohazard type situation. Like I opened the door to get some airflow, but then the people were cold, so I had to close the door, so we just had to suffer, and it was just like it was. I don't think it was Axe body spray, but it filled a warehouse. with poison. Hi, Nadia. All right. Later, Paul. It was definitely Sex Panther. It was not Sex Panther. Like, there's no way Sex Panther smelled that badly. Like, Sex Panther definitely smelled better than that guy. Because there's no way that 60% of the time it works every time for that guy. It worked once because he was with a lady who didn't seem to mind, but damn, I wish my boss was as cool as Nadia. Yeah, you do. Axe body spray stinks real bad. Well, it was, and it got somehow it got worse. Like it got more pungent. It was, yeah, like I made an extra couple of garbage runs out to the dumpster than maybe were necessary. Sorry to admit, I'll admit it. My boss is even here, and I think she will understand that like maybe I didn't need to make 3 trips to the dumpster for those 3 individual garbage bags. But yes, I did. I can still taste it. Yeah. Oh man. And this is like a warehouse size building that he filled. My clothes still smell like him. And you were in the best possible place. You were in the spare room up on the other side of walls and things while he was in the building. I didn't know that a human wearing a scent could permeate that effectively. And if somehow you happen to be watching this, what the fuck is wrong with you? Okay. Anyway, I'm looking at the positive things in the world. I'm making a conscious effort to look at the good things in the world. Like how rad this guitar is going to be. Right? With the spalting and the flaming in the maple. And it's all Purple Heart. And look how slick I managed to get. It's like a faux neck through. So the neck blank was made out of the same as the middle of the guitar. But I did not expect to be able to get that to match up that nice. Sometimes I'm more talented than even I think I am. But that, once that's all carved and smooth and stuff like that, is bang on. Speaking of positive things, Bennett's back. Is that a positive thing? Got more lathe classes coming. I do. We have rescheduled the pan version of the turning classes because it makes significantly less of a mess than bowl turning. So inside, it's not going to just, at least, it's not going to cover the entire shop in dust and shavings like the bowl turning one would do. So we're moving. We've started scheduling the pen turning class again, and we're gonna see how it goes. And if it covers the whole store in dust, we'll make some adjustments. But It's moving inside. I've got 2 more scheduled. I'm also teaching this guy. I'm teaching carving necklace pendants with rotary tools class in April, which is why I'm practicing. And we're probably going to do some more wood classes in the schedule after that. I might do so and buy like some Sloyd knives, do some hand carving stuff, maybe some spoons, maybe some mushrooms. Yeah, there are more classes on the way. I've got more painting classes coming up. That's what you should do. Sean, when you come out and visit, you should take a painting class at the Crow's Nest while you're here. Said you wanted to come up and see the Crow's Nest. Come up, take a painting class. Relief carving is another one, yes. That's something my wife would love to do. There you go, date night. You guys come take a painting class. We'll paint some mountains and trees and stars and clouds. And going around. I don't know. Have I shown you guys this one? Hold on. Taught that one in December, I think. Oh, I should have got a beer while I was up. Beer. Why are you taking them home? I didn't take that home. That was the practice one that I did here in the shop. We did one together at the Crow's Nest, and then I came home and did another practice one to make sure I knew what the fuck I was doing. Okay. I sent you the picture of the second practice one. I was like, I like this one better than the one that I did. I'm getting better. Oh. Now my wife is sold on going up to Campbell River. Right on. Yeah, happy to have you. Oh, damn. Oh, and I forgot my massager thing down at the shop too. Damn it. I got another one, but it's not as targeted. Is his wife watching right now? Hi, Sean's wife. Massager thing. It is. Okay. Stop being family show. Okay. It's got little balls. It goes like that. And it's like around your neck. It's supposed to do the back of your neck, but I had to do it like over my shoulder to get down to like back here. And then the other one that I have is like a car seat one that has like up the spine balls that do. She's nearby and listening in. Hello, Sean's wife. What's Sean's wife's name? I don't want to call her Sean's wife. That's rude. Stephanie. Man, that'd be cool if it was Stephanie. Everyone hit that like, share, and subscribe. Yeah! Make sure you click the button and smash that. And go buy a Linda mattress. And Sign up for Raid Shadow Legends and stuff. Oh, there are 19 of you watching, and only 9 of you actually want to be watching. That's kind of bad friending. Gotta say. No, there's only 17 of you watching. Two of you were like, this guy with his promotions. This is stupid advertising. Yeah, I don't raid Shadow Legends and Linda mattresses. Don't support those guys. This episode sponsored by Viver, best chucks ever. This episode sponsored by Viver's the best. This episode is sponsored by the folks over at patreon.com/wooden things and stuff. They're the ones that keep this show going. Gave you a thumbs up 7 times. That would be a down. This show is sponsored by the tangy zip of Miracle Whip. No, it's not. Penel, you still haven't told people your huge news. Nobody guessed. So let's just tell them. Can we just tell them? Or should we just wait for Amy? She might not show up. I can't message her to say that we're talking about her because I don't have my computer out here anymore. He's moving to Campbell River? Question mark? No, for some reason, I don't get it myself. He likes the other side. Like there's the good coast that I live on, and then there's the coast that he lives on, and he likes that side. It's fine. Everybody can like what they like. Isn't that one of the things we say on this show? It's dumb, but whatever. Like, dude was out shoveling his driveway for hours today. Hours. I sure wasn't. I could have gone and played a round of golf today. But, well, I couldn't because I was at work. But tomorrow I could. No, we can't tell people the big news. I might do it anyway. Using the tractor for hours. Thank you very much. Okay, but you were still, whether you were using a tractor or a handheld shovel or a chisel, okay, you still had to spend hours shoveling your driveway. Well, I could have gone golfing. How different is the outer ocean coast versus the straight side? Climatically, not that much in terms like temperatures and things. They do get a heftier wind coming off the ocean than we get because the mountains kind of break. Like Vancouver Island is essentially a mountain range, so they get hit with the off-sea wind and stuff. So they get cool storms and waves and things over on the other side, and it creates more off the ocean airflow, which gets broken by the mountains and then spins over the top of us. So we get wind coming from this direction. It changes. It's fairly similar, but different. Fairly similar in terms of temperatures and wind structures and rain. They're probably a little wetter on that side. But pretty close. It's not a huge difference. They are much more susceptible to tsunamis. If an earthquake happens in a seismic region in the ocean, they're gonna die, and we'll probably be okay. All islands are mountains. Boom, mind blown. Whose mind are you blowing? All continents are islands. Depending on how you want to scale this, all land is underwater mountains. Wind. What about rocks or cliffs? Sand, beach, or rock? More sand beach on that side than inside. Cliffs, probably about the same. Shoreline generally equally rugged. But like, yeah, they have more sandy beaches. We have more rocky beaches. We have some sandy beaches. I think the sandy beaches over that side are probably bigger. It's not as different as you would think. Other than waves, storm surges, and potential death from tsunami. Okay, what's the big news? Penel, I'm going to tell him. If you don't tell him, I'm going to tell him. Penel. Has a new favorite food. Penel's new favorite food happens to be a recipe that he got from me. Are we any closer to guessing? He finally actually tried the teriyaki pork chops. No, I'm kidding. Wait till Amy can guess. Oh, okay. Sorry, I may have just given it away. Oh God, not the teriyaki pork chops. Oh, see, that's perfect. I think he tried teriyaki pork chops not long after the teriyaki pork chops recipe came out. I don't know. You're gonna have to correct me on that, Chris. I don't remember. I thought that you did, but maybe not. Last week we were talking. Okay, let's just do it. Like last week we were talking about how he was putting off and couldn't afford the French onion soup bowls. He finally broke down and bought the French onion soup bowls and made his first batch of French onion soup tonight. And he sent me a picture of it done before he had tried it, and he's like, "Here we go." And then the next message was full of expletives in the best possible way. It's like the best use of like the positive expletives. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, see? Told you? Like, how many opportunities have you missed because you didn't just buy the bowls 2 years ago? I tried your onion soup recipe. Tasted great, but gave me heartburn. Well, that's not on me. I burnt my mouth. It is, yeah. The melty cheese and the under the broiler. You'd be careful with it a little bit, but You have to admit to the people that you were quite possibly caught off guard by how good it was, right? It felt like you were kind of in disbelief surrounding how good it was. Right? Let's be honest with the people, Chris. And it would have been even better if he'd have followed the damn recipe. Like if you listen and follow along, he didn't caramelize his onions down. He didn't render his onions down as much as you're supposed to. And it still was maybe the best thing he's ever eaten in his life. Number one tool to live by. Always trust a fat man that can cook. Oh, damn, that was double-sided edge. That was a double-edged sword, that one. It was a nice compliment, but also a good burn. And I'm slimming down, thank you very much. Like, oh, my nipple's popping through. Like I'm losing weight, guys. It was funny. It was good, and I appreciate the compliment. The strange compliment burn. Nice wooden nips and things. Watched the video in the kitchen with kid helping me. He was more impressed I was texting a YouTuber. That's right. He sent me that message too. He's like, my kid doesn't believe me that I'm actually talking to the guy that's on the screen. It's probably my fault. Had half stomach removed 10 years ago because of a tumor. Yeah, okay, well, can't stomach hot or greasy foods anymore. Hot as in temperature wise or spicy wise? Greasy, yeah, it's a little greasy. There's a little oil involved. Yeah. The oil and butter and cheese has a fat content. Yeah, I can see that. I said to Pinellas, he was making the French onion soup today, and I said to him, I was like, is it weird that I'm excited for you to eat soup? Because yeah, I was excited that he was finally going to try the thing that my recipe that he was going to try, and I was sure that he would appreciate. And I was excited for him to finally try French onion soup for his first time at what? How old are you? I don't think I even know. I want to say 35-ish. Maybe a decade behind me. Maybe not. First time he ever tried French onion soup was today, and it was my recipe, and it was the best thing he's ever put in his mouth. Family show. That's on you for growing that tumor, right? Humans are a terrible design. We've had this talk already. Why would we grow tumors? Like, that's just it's a really, really bad design. Bailey Woodworks, how you doing, my friend? We're apparently right now we're blaming Paul for growing a tumor in his stomach. So that's how the show is going so far. You come into that conversation in a weird place. That's beat cancer 3 times. At a guy. At a guy. Those were some shitty cancers. Wow. Wow. That's a thing that I said. Oh, I think I'm funny. That's it. I mean, you got to be able to laugh. You got to be able to. Can only eat 4 ounces of food at a time now. What is that for the rest of the world? What's 4 ounces of food? That doesn't sound like very much. Well, it's a lot of marijuana. Like, it's a good sized bag of marijuana, but um, not that I know anything about that. I used to. Fits in the palm of your hand, really? So like you can't have a whole steak dinner. You like, oh, you're right. That's a really small steak. You're not eating much of that steak dinner. Damn. So when you eventually move up here, we can't even like have barbecue. Be good for losing weight though. Go cancer. Stop. Stop. I need to sunk up at the size of a large banana. Damn. But still alive, still making telecasters. Paul finished the one that we were talking about last week. Okay, here's a good question, Paul. How is that not super rough on the surface, or is it? Like when the whiskey barrel top that looks super rough, like is it uncomfortable to like rub your arm against if you were to play that guitar? Like it looks intentionally, like on purpose for a reason, not smooth. It's not too rough. Do you like, is there, there can't be grain filling involved. Like, because in order to keep that sort of whiskey barrel texture and the printing and stuff on it, like, do you like flood it with epoxy and then sand it back until it's just, you don't get back down to the wood, but it fills all the. Can't sand it, can't grade fill. Yeah, I know. That's why I was a little bit confused, because it's like it looks like it would be really uncomfortable to run your hand over or your forearm with a pick in it. You know? Maybe if you're like a flick picker as opposed to a strummy strum. These are technical terms for different types of guitar players, in case you're wondering. There's a flicky flick and there's a strummy strum. I'm a strummy strum. And so I think that would be uncomfortable for me. But if you were a flicky flick, it'd probably be fine. Huge benefit is I don't get hungry. Yeah. Well, when you do get hungry, you can just have an Oreo or something. I'm a strummy strum. Yeah, Tim's a strummy strum. What was Roy Clark? I don't know who Roy Clark is. But we got a calendar. We got a calendar at work today. And today is somebody's birthday. It's Norman Rockwell's birthday today. Happy birthday, Norman Rockwell. Roy was a flicky flick. Okay. I'm a strummy strum. I'm also about to go use the bathroom facility beside my house. I'm having fun again tonight. I know I probably sound like a broken record when I say this, but like I really, really love that you guys keep coming to this nonsense show and hanging out with me on the internet on Saturday nights. Like it's the highlight of my week every week. Doesn't matter in what direction things go, we're all here together, having a good time, and I love it. I really, really, really appreciate that this is a thing that I get to do. And that you're the people I get to do it with. Mikey Bennett, are you still here? He's often considered one of the greatest guitarists. Really? And I don't know who this guy is. Good. I'm in pain, but the doctor said I'm okay because my blood work came out good. Well, you're not okay if you're in pain. I mean, diagnostically, maybe. I understand that. Yo, okay, you are here. Are we filming on Monday? Or are you going to Courtney? Did you have Hee Haw TV show in Canada back in the day? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. That doesn't mean we didn't have it. When I was growing up in Saskatchewan, we had 2 channels, and one of them was Detroit PBS, and the other was CBC. We ended up, eventually we got a bunch of channels. We got one of those big giant satellite dishes that like you had to have a cement platform for in your backyard. Probably like, I want to say like 14 feet across kind of satellite dishes. But for a good portion of my childhood, it was CBC and K. I'm surprised I don't remember the call sign for Detroit PBS, but KCTS? KCTS, I think. Sent you one of his videos in chat. Okay, cool. I'll check it out after the show. We can most likely do some filming. No Courtney plans. Just got to do some stuff around here in the morning. Okay, cool. I'll sleep in. Then I'll come out. And then we'll refurb a hatchet and do the unboxing of the Veritas spoke shave in order for me to do the hatchet. That would be a fun day. Roy Clark was one of those country western musicians from the Grand Ole Opry. Okay, I'm starting to make connections. I do recognize the name now that we're talking about country guitar player guys. I grew up in Saskatchewan, so I heard a lot of country. I grew up on Alabama and Dolly Parton and Garth Brooks and here. The Traveling Wilburys. There was a little bit of Traveling Wilburys around in my house. My parents weren't big music fans, but when music was played in my house, it was those types of things. Roy Orbison was around in the house. Extremely talented individual. Love Alabama. Oh, sweet. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that out loud. And because I grew up around country music, not only in my house, but in Saskatchewan, in the malls and in the stores and everything like that, that's probably where I started leaning towards rock and roll and alternative music and grunge and things like that in my teenage years. There's small children yelling profanities in the street. That's bad parenting. That's bad parenting is what that is. Supposedly they asked, hold on, I'm going to go back a little bit here. Used to sit around and watch big wooden televisions. Yes, yeah. Like big, and they had to warm up. You had to turn it on and then you come back in a little bit when it warmed up because the tube was going. Yeah. That was the basement TV. I got the big wooden one downstairs. Big basement TV that you're like, if I wanted to play Nintendo, I did turn it on and then like let it warm up for a while before it would actually work. That was unexpected. With the profanity from the small children in the street? Yeah. It was. It was very unexpected. It's bad parenting. Not going to brag, but my child is not out running around in the street yelling profanities. Big clicky knobs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of them said UHF right up at the top. I think it was the straight up. Said UHF. Yeah, wow. That was even older than me, and now I feel even older than I am. Did anybody else have one of those giant satellite dishes that had a concrete base that they had to be built in their backyard, and it was like a big plastic dish that was like 14 feet across with a big fucking antenna that came off the middle of it, and it like turned. You had to like dial in like channel 578, and it would like in the yard. We had a 6-footer. McGill had a 6-footer. Eric Habakabaka has one of those. Had one of those. I thought it was the best thing in the world. I was like, man, look how fancy pants we are. We get a bunch of channels, and they're like bouncing off satellites in space. And you turn the dial and you go to 737, and there was a guide for the various channels, and you go like 737 is such and such a channel, and you turn it to that, and then you what in the yard. Youth. That would have been what, late 80s, I guess. No, mid 85, 86, something like that, probably. It's a TV guide for the ages. Yeah, the big sheet. I think it was laminated, and it was on the record player. The big console record player that had the speakers and the record storage inside on like timbre doors. Maybe timbre door. No, not timbre doors, but slidey doors. Be right back. Cheap bourbon. That a guy. We'll be here. I'm having fun again. Still. So we might go forever. We'll go till my phone dies. I have a UHF antenna in my attic now. Got 46 stations, dropped cable 2 years ago. Ah, nice. We haven't had cable TV for 10 probably years. But we basically have it again because we got the stupid. We talked about this before too, but like, oh yeah, we've broken free of cable, and now we have, instead of $60 all the channels, we have $12 Netflix and $12 Amazon Prime and $12 Hulu and $12 Disney Plus and 12, and to get all of the channels, so it ends up being the same goddamn thing anyway. But I'm amused that I loved my original Game Boy that I got at a garage sale, but now for $50 you can buy a handheld with every game ever made. We got one of the Sega Genesis, like preloaded. It actually looks like sort of a 3/4 size Sega Genesis, and it has the Sega Genesis controllers, and it's got like 90 games loaded on it. We got one of those because why not? It was like $60 or something. Yeah. Yeah. Totally get it. We don't get TV at our house. Wifey watches Netflix, Amazon, etc. Yeah. You Crave. We got. I don't know. I can't keep track of what we have and what we didn't keep after the trial version, and I don't. Netflix, Hulu, Disney combo. I don't count Prime. Well, yeah. I mean, Prime. If you have Amazon Prime as its shipping and whatever benefit, and you also have it as TV, then sure, I get it. I guess kind of. That's we don't order enough Amazon for us to pay for Prime if it wasn't for the TV. I watch YouTube. I don't watch TV at all. I watch very, very little TV. I have TV running in the background as I sleep. TV. But yeah, I don't watch. We watch, we have family movie night every Sunday, and sometimes it's a show instead of a movie. Like like we're watching Echo right now on every third week because that's Sven's pick. And then on my pick, we're watching Rings of Power. And on wife's pick, it's usually a movie. But that's about all the television screen time that I watch is on Sunday night. Prime price just keeps going up. It's like 107 US bucks now. Really? God, no wonder I'm so poor. I don't I don't know how much money comes in and goes out of the house. I just know when we don't have any or when we have enough for something. The free trial of Crunchyroll right now for Jujutsu Kaisen and Solo Level. I understood most of the words in that sentence. I just cruise YouTube when I have spare time. Yeah, I do YouTube. I have some podcasts and stuff, but I don't. Usually, when I'm watching YouTube, I'm listening to YouTube when I'm out here in the shop, and when I'm not filming out here in the shop. And it's usually a video version of a podcast. Like I watch the Fine Woodworking podcast on YouTube, but it's playing in my earbuds. And I watch some projects, and if I'm looking up a piece of information and somebody has a good thing on YouTube, I'll watch that. Like, for example, if I wanted to learn how to set up a Wolverine sharpening jig on my grinder, I would watch that on YouTube. Because there's professionals who have recorded themselves setting up their Wolverine sharpening jigs and recorded them on YouTube and put them out into the world. With good informational content about how to go about doing that. Right? Or how to build a drum sounder out of a treadmill. It probably exists. I probably will look that up. Yep. Wolverine, you say. I kept waiting for the said Pro to open said box. I opened it. I still don't know what some of the stuff was that was in it, but I opened it and I set it up. You know, like a second character even came in during that episode. Like Future Mike showed up to make commentary. I'm not gonna complain. Wait, we missed the box opening of the Wolverine jig? It was like a minute in. Oh, yeah, unless you mean the Amazon box that the Wolverine box came in. Yeah, I didn't unbox the. It wasn't an Amazon, it was Lee Valley. You missed the unboxing of the Lee Valley box that the Wolverine box came in because I didn't record that part. I've bought cigarettes in Japan from the Hello Kitty vending machine. That's a cool statement. And I don't know that I even need to know what it's referencing. That's just a cool thing to be able to say. Didn't really announce the new video coming out. My new video. The Wolverine jig this past week? I did say that I was working on the Wolverine sharpening jig video and it should be released shortly. I'm sure I did. Are you talking about tonight? I didn't talk about the fact that it came out. Beaver Chuck unboxing review. Oh, that's gonna be mean. Open the box, get mad. Video clip of it being hurled into the trash. No, the Beaver Chuck unboxing and review is actually going to be pretty good. Because I talk about my expectations being low and, it's probably going to be good enough for the price and blah, 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 blah. And then I point out that it is actually even worse than I expected. And this is why. And it's actually probably going to be a pretty good video. Hello Kitty is a child show. I know what Hello Kitty is. I just didn't know the reference for where did the statement come from about buying cigarettes from the Hello Kitty vending machine. It just kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, hey, just so everybody knows, I've bought cigarettes from a Hello Kitty vending machine. There was no sort of segue into that statement. Oh, it's happening. Yeah, the Beaver Chuck. I did literally opened the box on video, and all of the whole process was recorded. And it's probably going to end with me saying, they wanted me to send them a bunch video of the problem, and I'm not going to do that. So fuck these guys. And I just bought a $100 and whatever paperweight. Don't buy things from these people. They suck balls. And not in the perfectly acceptable way of sucking balls, in the negative connotation way. Yeah, it's all filmed. I even filmed stripping out the screw, trying to get it out, or the bolt, to try and remedy what the problem was. And I am going to be happy when I send them that and say, this could have been avoided by you guys not being so shit. The end. How's the Beaver, was it forklift bars, Pinnell? Something that you put on the front of the tractor thing. Viver is known for quality. That's a good point. Yeah, like they're if ever you want to support a company that you know is um, doing its own research and development and developing its own products and not just ripping off other people's designs and specs and then mass producing them with child labor and then selling them at a discount with cheaper materials that went into them and poor quality control. Absolutely. Crunchyroll is an anime streaming service. Oh, okie dokes. Strangely enough, he got hacked soon after. Lost my YouTube account. And I'm going to have to put up a video saying, like, oh, everybody needs to help me get my YouTube account back. And because I don't have millions of people, it's going to take me a year instead of 6 hours. They work fine for what they are. Forklift forks that clamp on a tractor buggy. Yeah, yeah. Manufactured to a very high level of precision. Are you picking up the sarcasm I'm putting down? Are you picking up? I think we're all on the same page here. It's really good product and a good way to spend your money by supporting organizations such as Viver and Shine. Yeah, how do you pronounce that other shitty company that does the same thing? Shine, or Wish, or Temu, or whatever. It is impressive. You're right. It is impressive that Mr. Wandell has 1.7 million subs. This is very impressive. Everybody can like what they like. Temu also reputable. Amazing. Imagine me holding a bent square while saying that. Temu also high quality, good, happy, fun time tool. Make better your work. Now I just sound racist. How many like wasn't using like their poor use of English to represent anything? You guys. Oh, this is fun. I do like hanging out with you guys. Temu is the third shift in the US the company didn't pay for. Let me parse that out. Temu is the third shift the US company didn't pay for. Oh, okay. I added words. I thought the third shift in the US. Temu is the third shift US company didn't pay for. Yeah. Is Shine? Is it just pronounced Shine? Same garbage. You familiar with the GIF or GIF? You guys have an opinion on that? Ron Swanson violently throwing computer into the dumpster. Yes, I'm familiar with not just the GIF, but I'm very familiar with the show. I watched that show all the way through numerous times. It's one of my, probably, I would venture to say, at any given time, I might call it my favorite television show of all time. That's my everything response at work. Yeah, fair enough. I think Parks and Recreation is one of the best television shows ever created. And I don't really like TV very much, but that one was damn good. Every character had an arc. Every episode had the right notes hit at the right time. The casting was phenomenal. The writing was great. The It made you care about people when you needed to care about them. It made you hate people when you needed to hate them. It was just a really, really, really well done show. Tom makes me hush. Yeah, Tom. Every character is just so great, and they all hit their notes exactly right, and just really, really well done. Really well done. And it ended. It did. They didn't just keep adding more seasons because it was making money. They were just like, it wasn't like Lost. Remember Lost, where it was good for a couple of years, and it was like, and then it's people got into it, and the people making it were like, hey, let's just keep going for another decade, and it's just like, here's a fucking polar bear. This is like it just like fell apart. Parks and Rec felt like it ran its course, and it was beautiful, and it they didn't be like, okay, well now she's president, let's keep going, and just and Perkins. Yeah. Literally. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying bring me a lot of bacon and eggs. Bring me all of the bacon and eggs that you have. It's been a while. That might be wrong, but Jean-Ralphio and his sister. Yeah. And then Fonz. Yeah. Henry Winkler as the dad of those, I think they're twins in the show. Like, are they just brother and sister, or are they actually twins? I don't remember, but yeah, great. Even the little mini characters, like that don't show up all the time, are great. The newscaster, the journalist woman that has the morning show, a fantastic character. She's just like hammered sometimes, and like it was a really good show. Um, or the other broadcaster guy. Uh, yeah, I can't even. I was going to do an impression, but it didn't work. University I work at has a cat that lived on campus. Is that McMaster University? Sorry. I actually don't know. Is it? No, McMaster's in Hamilton. I don't know if I know what university you work at. What I think McMaster. That's stupid. Um, Why do I not know the university in Halifax? Am I getting stupider? Anyway, has a cat that lived on campus. The cat passed away late fall. Big deal made out of it. Several emails to everyone. I feel like Ben on Parks and Recreation. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, and he just looks at the camera once in a while. Yeah. I think he eventually got it, didn't he? Or was he just pretending to get it because he was in love? I feel like he actually eventually he ended up getting it. Maybe not. Here. Oh, everything about that show is great. Perd Hapley. That's yeah. But Joan Calamezzo was her name. The other like local celebrity lady. Another great character who didn't need to be around all the time, but when she showed up, it was perfect. It was perfect. Just really good show. I want to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine eventually. I've heard good things, but I just no, I don't think so. When Little Sebastian gets brought into the Parks and Rec office and Ron Swanson squeals like it's yes. All right, later, Paul. We'll see you next week, theoretically. I don't know. I always go back and forth on whether to bother doing this nonsense, and then I need it every week, so I just keep doing it. Oh, who broke the coffee maker? Such a perfect scene. Who broke it? Why she was the last one to get, and then they just all start like ripping into each other, and then cuts to him being like, "I broke the coffee maker." Just everything about that. It is a really, really good show. I'm done. Maybe I'm not, but I did not know Christian Becksford was on the Woodworking Expo. Yes, he was in there twice. I knew about him before the show, but dug into Shaker, and and he actually was on the show because Nick Offerman asked him to come be on the show because they're friends in real life. Because Nick Offerman, I don't know if you know this, but Nick Offerman is a very talented woodworker. The canoe that was that he gave to the inspector guy, probably my least favorite character in the show. Anyway, when they went to the shop and he had to like fix the code violations or whatever, and then he gave him a canoe. Nick Offerman made that canoe. And I think that was Nick Offerman's shop that they shot it in. Also, I don't think Becksford has an H in it. So show some respect, okay? Spell his name right. Tammy is his real life wife. Yeah. I think they met on that show and got married because of that show. I don't know what the timeline looks like on their relationship, but I think they met and fell in love on that show. Maybe they were already together, but I want to think that they met and fell in love on that show. Oh, that's another really good episode when they go to prison and he gets all the cornrows. Cannot see or edit comments. It clips 10 letters. I'm super recent phone too. You want to try again, champ? That was mean. Don't be mean. We're all here having fun together. It clips 10 letters. I'm super recent phone too. I know that you're not super recent phone too because we've had entire conversations here on the show. Jimmy DiResta lives 20 minutes from you. Another famous guy. He's super famous. He didn't meet his wife on Parks and Rec. I thought that I saw a panel discussion with the Parks and Rec cast, and they were like, "What was your favorite part?" It was just a generic question, and it was like, "What was the best thing about making the show?" And he was like, "Well, I met my wife," or something. Maybe not. The damn YouTube edit box sucks. I can't see what I'm typing anymore. Oh, did they innovate to make things better for the user experience? Because that tends to be what happens when they do that, is that shit gets worse for everybody. But, we're not here. We're here to celebrate the good things in the world and not dwell on the negatives. Even though it's really, really easy. That's one of the big problems with just, I think, the world in general, is it's way easier. It's way easier to get angry about bad than it is to get happy about good. You missed the comment. Nick Offerman made that canoe with DiResta. Oh, did he? Okay. I know that. I think Jimmy called Nick to come and help him make a canoe because Nick knew how to make canoes and Jimmy didn't, I think is how that worked. But yeah, there's absolutely a friendship and everything. Married 2003. Met her at a play when he had no. Oh, okay. All right. So he was lying on the panel discussion that I saw on the internet? What? How dare he? He had bacon in the ceiling under the floating what do they call those? Float ceilings when there's like the foam, when you can lift the panel of a ceiling and then there's like a sub, there's like, that's the sub ceiling above the, I know the term for it, but anyway, you had bacon stored up there, like emergency bacon. It's awesome. Drop ceiling, that's what, there you go. He lifted the panel and he grabbed like 4-pound thing of bacon out of there. Just such a good show. Now I want to just go watch it through again. But it's on They took it off Netflix because it was an NBC property, I think, maybe. So it's probably on fucking Peacock or some shit, which is probably a part of Crave or something. I don't know. I don't know what to watch anymore. That was one of the ones that I would just have on repeat while I was sleeping because it was just great and familiar and comfortable. It may not have been the exact canoe from the show, but DiResta and Offerman did a canoe building DVD for a company that sells canoe kits before either were famous. I want to see this. I need to see the pre-famous DiResta Offerman canoe build. All right, later, Sean. Thanks again for coming, my friend. Click that like button on your way out, unless you've already clicked it. Then don't. Sleepy time here too. All right. Well, let's get her shut down. We're at 3 hours. That's lots. I should do an hourly. I should do like a review of how many hours of live show I've done each year since I started doing this. I think it's gone up. Let's get it wrapped. I'm going to start looking for drum sanders and treadmills for maybe getting one in the shop. Not a treadmill, but a drum sander. We'll see what happens to work out. Whether it's just buying a drum sander or making one out of motors and potentiometers and belts and pulleys and I see, saying it out loud, I guarantee I'm just gonna end up buying one because I don't want to do the work. I haven't slept for 5 days because that would be too long. One time I slept for 2. I slept 40. I think I slept 52 hours one time. Let's not talk about why. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. We'll see you next week. Maybe we'll do some guitar next week. I don't know, Saturday nights is hard because Saturday is my hardest day at work. I almost never feel like doing anything else other than just hanging out. I want to get back to doing work here on the show with you guys, but it's just really, really hard. That's what she said. Bye for now.